stop. Ow. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on this channel. Today we'll be talking about who was Harriet Tubman and where's the book? Gotcha. Now, who was Harriet Tubman? Well, I already a few days ago I already made a video on about this, the life of Harriet Tubman, and since I have some filters, the camera is making this girl with red lips. Yeah, well. And now, today we'll be talking about who was Harriet Tubman. And let's find out today. Boom, boom, boom. Right, who was Harriet Tubman? Well, Harriet Tubman was a former slave who risked her life to help other slaves escape to freedom. When she already escaped to freedom, she was also a conductor of the Underground Railroad. She had many adventures. She used the North Star and moss of trees to help to find out if she was going north properly. And then later she ran away and dressed as a man, and then later became the conductor of the Underground Railroad and helped people escape to freedom. Then she became a nurse. She became a nurse who saved lives at the Union. During the armies. This is what she became in a hospital. And then she also became a spy. She became the leader of all of these white men who were spies. So there were 10 people in total, and one of them was a woman. And that woman was Harriet Tubman. And that woman, Harriet Tubman, was the leader of all the spies. And their plan was to blow up their railroad. Blow up the railroad when their supplies were just passing. And you know what it looked like? Well, it didn't look pretty. Kaboom! Not pretty, is it? And that's how exactly what happened to the railroad and the Unions. Now, the Union troops were the guys who exploded. It made that thing to explode. And then Harriet Tubman was also one of the leaders. And everybody was now almost everybody in the North was against Harriet Tubman. And now there's even a wanted poster of Harriet Tubman when she was still working for the Underground Railroad. By the way, I already drew a little mini version of it. Yay! And she was once caught in front of the wanted poster, and these men were like, "Hey, isn't she here, this girl?" And then Harriet Tubman knew that the poster said that she could not read, so she pretended to read. And then they decided that she was not the girl. And she was just lucky because she was holding it upside down, but then she was lucky that she was holding the book upside down, which is weird. She actually put it upside. She did not put it upside down. Since she could not read, she was pretty lucky for that. So, and that was just a few days or a year before she was forced to quit for the Underground Railroad conductor. Abraham Lincoln. She was friends with Abraham Lincoln later, and then she supported the riots of a man called where's this guy? I knew it was in this book. Oh yeah, there's John Brown's raid. John Brown. This guy. She also supported this guy right here. And then later, that turns out that she tried to join him, but she wasn't because she was a woman, and then women were not allowed there. Yeah. Then there was an attack. The Union troops were able to make the Confederate troops surrender. And that was almost nearly the end of the whole world. Yeah. Harriet Tubman still acted as a spy, but instead of wearing long, filthy dresses, she started wearing men's clothing plus a women's clothing, like a mixture between them. It was made with a coat. It was a costume made by Amelia Bloomer. It was made of a small jacket, short skirt, and full trousers. And it was called a bloomer. And that's what she wore for the rest of her life as a spy. Then later, she became back as a nurse, and then she had to quit and then regain her own strength. Then she came back, but then had to come back. In December 1865, the war was finally over. And then Harriet Tubman was able to return home and care for her parents, who were near the age of death. Then they died. She bought a house, and her friend published a biography on Harriet Tubman. Then Harriet married a husband who was somebody named Delson Davis. Harriet's first husband, John Tubman, which is where she got the name Tubman, died in 1867. They were married in 1869. And then Nelson Davis made Harriet to get another chance of a family life. And that was all she could get. And then a few days or a month, or I don't know how long, but a year later, Nelson Davis died of tuberculosis, which is a disease for the lungs, and the same thing that happened in Pachinko, but nothing else for that. Harriet had to earn money so that she can support the house. And then later she bought a piece of land, which was across from her house, and then she gave her original house to the Zion Church. And you know what rule they made? Nobody can enter the house except when they have $100 in. Now, I would want to make a rule that no one can come into the house if they had no money. Anybody who can come into the house if they had no money. That was a truly fair law. And so, yeah, that's how everything happened. And at the age of 92, she could no longer go out. But people still came to see her. And then, finally, one day, for a whole year, until she was 93 years old, somebody read her to the newspaper every day. And then she died. Everybody wanted to honor her, and then they made they put a bronze plaque in the front of the entrance of a theater. And this is it. And it read, "In memory of Harriet Tubman, 1821 to 1913. With rare courage, she led over 300 Negroes up from slavery to freedom." And those were all true things. Now, Harriet Tubman might be the best person and the first female to do a lot of the things that happened for the blacks. But that doesn't mean that she was the best of best, and that she could be the most famous person for the underground female, but that doesn't mean that she was the first to free the slaves. Like Moses, he wasn't the first to try to free his own people. He was the last person and was able to succeed to freeing his own people from the Egyptians. And that's how he wants the freedom, and everybody and the blacks wanted to win their freedom in this kind of the same way, only without the magic-y stuff. And that's how everything went on, and we are still fighting for the lives of the blacks today. And the Black Lives Movement matter might go on in handy, but I have a question to you before I leave. What would you have done if you were Harriet Tubman? And if you were the very first conductor on the Underground Railroad, what would you have done? And what would you have done to the slaves if you were a plantation owner? Please write your answers in the comments below, or leave them in my email, t0jwar@naver.com, and send. So, see you next episode. Junhan out. Peace. Subscribe, like this video, and click the bell button.